Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 12th thrilling edition of What Does Danné Say? Today, I say that we're going to approach the whole subject of menopause. Most of you therapists out there and or doctors have people of all ages coming to you, and some of them won't even tell their age or what they are. They try to pretend they're younger or whatever. But menopause does factor into all of our treatments and has for a very long time. Many years ago, after I wrote my first book, The Maybelline Prince, I was going to do a secondary book called 50 and Push to the Curb. And what does that mean? Who would that book be for? It would be for women 50 plus whose husbands have, God forbid, dropped dead of a heart attack or something, or ran off with somebody for a midlife crisis or whatever. Kids are grown, off with their own families, and there you are, 50 plus, all alone, by yourself. Now, what do? You can be depressed, you can slide into age very quickly, or it can be the best time of your life, because now you have an opportunity to do everything for yourself, totally for you. Any career you ever imagined as a younger person can now be explored again. But anything that you wanted to be a writer, whatever. Thing is, you have to get the package together first at its very best. And that's where DMK comes in. That's where we come in. Now, what happens when you start to slide into menopause? And it happens differently with everybody. Myself, for example, anopause, or the male climaterium, as we call it. As we age, our testosterone levels start to get lower and lower and lower. And when they're finally very low, certain things happen. For instance, loss of energy, elasticity of skin changing. And I was warned by a very dear friend of mine. We had a business together in Beverly Hills on Lasky Drive, Dr. Lawrence Birnbaum. He told me, he said, you better have your testosterone levels checked, Danné, because they get lower and lower and lower over time. Some people earlier than others, some people later, depending on genetics. That has a lot to do with it. But it's not even a question of erectile dysfunction in males. It's a question, you don't care. And that hit me. I'm sorry, I did not want to be, I don't care. I happen to be with someone that's 35 years younger than me, and I'm in no position to say I don't care. So basically what it is, and it's the same for women, it's replacement of spare parts. That's all it is. Now, having said that, before we go into some of the signs of menopause, I would urge you to visit or at least get a very, very good endocrinologist, because you need your panels run every so often. You don't want to replace hormones too much or too little. You want it to be just right, and this takes monitoring. And it's not a hard thing to do. They have all kinds of different ways nowadays. They even have a subcutaneous pouch that can be created where they slip the hormone beads under your skin. Friends that do that because they don't have to do it every single week or every 2 weeks like normal. They go 3 months or so. So that's all in the hands of a very, very good endocrinologist. And that doesn't mean just your GP. That means a endocrinologist. I urge you to see one. All right, so what happens to when the estrogen levels do start to come down? Well, first of all, you get collagen and elastin breakdown. Estrogen regulates the fibroblast cell and its activity. Its decline, when the fibroblast cell starts to not do its job, and don't forget, it's the factory that makes elastin and collagen fibers, you get increased sagginess, looseness, and so on. Sometimes even thinning skin. And by the way, I do know about the thinning skin because I have it now, and it's extremely annoying. At 82, I'll be 82 in a couple of weeks. Jeez, time flies, and not when you're having fun. Okay. Then you also have TWL, transepidermal water loss, and barrier disruption. Well, ceramides are reduced and lipid production weakens when your hormone levels, your estrogen, starts to get lower and lower and lower. And of course, these are the skin's protective barrier. Pigmentation. I also know about this one. And I'm sure some of you gals out there that are 50, 60 plus also know about this. Hormonal fluctuations cause irregular melanin, and it leads to what we call age spots and hyperpigmentation. And the first time you may notice this is when you go in the sun. Now, we do need a certain amount of sun because we need vitamin D and other things from sun rays. But I always advise before 11 o'clock in the morning and after 3 o'clock in the afternoon if you want to lay in the sun. But even so, when estrogen levels start to decline, you don't have that nice even tan. You have very irregular, splotchy tan. And this is where a lot of people make a mistake. So they lay out in the sun more and more and more and burn and get deeper and darker to cover up all of those irregularities. I stopped body tanning years and years ago, many years ago. When spray tan first came out, in fact, I even had a DMK sun. We call it DMK sun. It was a circle with a slash across the sun that I formulated back in the day. I always used a fake tan on the body and the face. I kept the face pretty shielded most of my life, but not so much on the body. And I regret some of the early years where I did get burned. We did stay out all day. We thought we were young and hot and fabulous. Paying for it now. All right. We have a more fragile capillary and sort of a cuprose or redness condition to the skin. The loss of dermal support makes blood vessels more visible and prone to damage, and I can attest to that. I've got several, let's see. Well, right there. Of course, I have covered up a little bit with my makeup, but I can't even go into my rose garden anymore without coming out with these strange bruises that appear from nowhere. And I used to see this on older and aging clients all the time. Never thought it would happen to me, but it did happen to me. And thank God for my very simple formula for red vein cream. It's one of my oldest formulas, and yet it's still one of my favorites because every time I see that and I stipple on some red vein cream, boom, within 24 hours, 48 max, it's gone. The plastic surgeons who use it love it because it really gets rid of hematomas after facial surgery and so on. You also have your acid mantle compromise. Now, what in the heck is your acid mantle? Well, for those of you that don't know, it is your natural moisture that you were born with. Creams do not moisturize. Creams are delivery mechanisms if they're formulated correctly. But the only thing that truly moisturizes are what we're born with. Fluid from our sudoriferous gland, basically water, sweat, and oil from the sebaceous gland. And every 3 hours, give or take, depending on ethnicity and genetics and so on, these two secretions come to the surface through the pores, blend together, and form the natural acid mantle. And that is our moisturizer. And this we replicate, very simple, with what? CBE and urban mineral mist. Okay? This needs to be used more often and more copiously after menopause. So, why does DMK consider menopausal skin a function condition rather than just an aesthetic issue? Well, because there's a psychological aspect to it as well. You know, when people look in the mirror and they see all of these things that we just talked about, sagging skin, hyperpigmentation, loss of elasticity, cuprose, all of these things, they get depressed. They think, oh, I'm just aging. What am I going to do? I have to have mass surgery or whatever. No, good surgery is, fine. I think it's great, but just doesn't always have to wait until you have to rush and do that. The skin does have memory, and it will snap back even during the menopausal years. Oh, I feel like Rachel Maddow with my notes here. So, what do we do? What do we do more of? All right, first of all, let's explore our classic enzyme therapy. What does that do? Well, all of you that are DMK practitioners know that it stimulates circulation, oxygenation, and lymphatic drainage to optimize cell function and homeostasis. This is vitally important during these menopausal years. Now, what does that suggest? It suggests something that's been bothering me personally for quite a while. I have to have more treatments. Anybody that's 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus, and I'm 80 plus, has to up their DMK treatments. There's just no way around it. And I know that now. It's so funny, back years ago when I was in creative form, doing formulations and thinking of things, protocols and everything, I would have more treatments than anybody all the time. But lately I've kind of, I do the home prescriptives very well, but I just kind of, outside of Enzyme, which I've had 4 of, I just kind of do not do my enzymatic treatments like I should, and I will have to. Muscle banding is extremely important. We have a method, I think it's taught in the protocol manual. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's in the manual somewhere, where if a person is like 60 plus, they don't have enzyme 1, 2, and 3 each time. What they do have is they have enzyme 1 full face, okay, and all the way up under the eyes, everywhere. Full stop, that's it. 2 or 3 days later, they come back in and have banding without banding. In other words, full face enzyme 2 and 3 minus under the eyes and over the top of the mouth. And as you all know, those of you that have been trained, those are the oris orbicularis, oris oculi muscles. They're round. We can't guarantee which way they're going to contract. So you could actually, end up like this, which you don't want to do. But we found this kind of treatment is much more effective for people that are past 60 and so on, rather than just do 1, 2, and 3 with banding all the time. Alkaline therapy. It resurfaces thicker aged skin while promoting a favorable environment for cell removal. But wait, you just said skin is thinner. What, 5 minutes ago? Well, yes, but there are some people that are outdoorsy people, and they never take care of their skin. They never try to protect it. They think they're invulnerable. And they end up with this solar damage, thick, leathery type of skin with deep retides and so on, and cross-link wrinkles and everything else. And these are the people that we would use alkaline wash therapy with. Helps to soften down the menopause-related keratinized layers and the corneum buildup due to the much, much slower cell turnover, which promotes a smoother and more responsive skin. Of course, our home prescriptives are absolutely essential to this and have to be done religiously. Think of brushing your teeth. That's all I can tell you. Think of brushing your teeth. You don't get up in the morning going, I can hardly wait to brush my teeth. It's so thrilling. No. You get up and do it, because if you don't, your teeth will rot and fall out of your head, or you socially distance everybody around you with your breath. So yes, the prescriptives have to be done like brushing the teeth. That means the anti-inflammatory beta gel, EFA+, which mocks the matrix in your skin, that gives it that turgidity and that bounce that I've lost a lot of, as I've noticed. I've upped my my EFAs too. Right now, I'm up to about 7 or 8 a day. I used to do 1 in the morning, 1 at night years ago. Night Firming, one of my oldest formulas, enormous collagen 1, 3, and 6 support. And for matrix, which is reinforcement. It says here in the script, dermal density reinforcement. Yeah, that's pretty good. But what it actually is, it's a chemical trick with therapeutic additives. In other words, it does fill up lines itself just by the polymer and the consistency of it. But while you have something that is there all day long, why not add some therapeutic coenzymes and so on, which we have done. These are all the things that biomimic everything that naturally goes on in the skin. And that's basically what we're doing during the menopausal years. Now, we did have a menopausal skin masterclass not too long ago. people wanted to know why we decided to dedicate a masterclass on menopausal skin. I kind of wondered that too when it was first being put together. And then it occurred to me that it is a focus type of thing. Yeah, obviously, a lot of our practitioners around the world, therapists, plastic surgeons, doctors, have treated menopausal skin, but they never really labeled it. And I realize now that when you label something, it becomes an entity, and then it becomes a focus, and that is something that you can promote. Okay? So we decided to do a master, and it was extremely well done and extremely well received. Now, there is also a sexual thing. Aha, see, I got your attention. Well, why not? Come on. My dear friend, Julie Newmar, most of you know her as the original Batwoman, but she's bigger career than that. She was a big star on Broadway for years, movies, everything. She's age 90, and she lives in Brentwood. We're very close friends. She's the one that keeps me going. Every time I start getting age-related depressions, I call Julie, and she says, shut up, get on with it. But she's writing her fourth book now, which is the true story of her life. And I think it's an important book because this woman was a 6'1" glamazon. And she never had an agent. She did all of her own contracts. She ended up being a real estate mogul when certain physical things happened to her and she could no longer appear on screen, and sharp as a tack. And one of her chapters, she sent it to me, one of my opinions, should I put this in the book, Danné? And I go, what is it? It's called Sex at 74. Well, she happened to have a very good boyfriend, lover at age 74. Now, this brought me to many experiences in my own life when I would be around the world in various situations and be with somebody much, much younger than me and have a very good time. And I would go in the bathroom to wash my hands or whatever and look in the mirror and I look younger, I look better. Is this your imagination just because you had a feel-good time or not? No, it is not. It's an actual, and I keep, Dr. Laconde, what's the name of that? Oxytocin. Sex hormone. And Julie asked me if it was too crude for her to write a chapter. I am certainly not. There are probably lots of gals out there that, still want to be with somebody. For anybody that remembers that old movie Cocoon will know exactly what I'm talking about. And usually it's dependent on the men because women don't have to show much. But that's what happens when you have a good time, regardless of your age, even in post-menopausal years and older age, is that oxytocin starts to flow and you literally, your skin, everything looks brighter, more flushed, and better. So there's a physiological aspect to everything besides psychological. I'm going to encourage all the viewers here to continue learning about this topic through our advanced education offerings, because we do have more in-depth scientific, medical aspects that are involved in this menopausal subject as well. And don't forget, people, what I always say on that line, that knowledge truly is power. Thank you.